What is going on, everyone, and welcome to r/am I the butthole. Not me personally, but some of the posts that we're about to read out are written by people who, they can't figure out in a certain story, in an event, were they in the wrong or was somebody else? Starting with this one, don't worry, the title is correct, but it's not as bad as you think. Let's get straight into it. Am I the butthole for medically tattooing my child under the recommendation of a doctor? Hear me out. I, a 31-year-old female, and my husband tried for 5 years to get pregnant. Testing eventually revealed I have eggs of frickin' steel, and without medical help, I'll never get pregnant. So that's what we did. We gave our samples, one petri dish, and 9 months later, I have 2 beautiful fraternal twin boys, Jack and Adam, fake names of course. The thing is, Jack has a condition. Without going into detail, he requires a shot once a week. Once he is older, he can take pills. I went back to work and my mother-in-law offered to watch the babes. She's wonderful, I trust her 100%. They were 9 months and now they're 16 months old. During this time, she would give his injection as we had a schedule, 10 a.m. before snack and nap. It worked very well, until a month ago, when she gave the shot to the wrong kid. Now they may be fraternal, but they do look identical. I'll be honest, my husband and I even mix them up sometimes. Everyone does. She immediately noticed her mistake, called 911, and they were transferred to hospital. By the time I got there, Adam had been given the reversal agent, and they were both happily sipping on juice, loving the attention. We went home the same night, told to push fluids. He was never in danger. It's a very slow-acting medication that, at worst, would have given him diarrhea in a few days. My mother-in-law was beside herself. I tried to ease her worry, but she refused to babysit, so to daycare they went. This daycare has a nurse, because some of the kids have medications, so she knew what to do. But the worry of mixing up the kids was a valid concern, and they would not keep name tags on. So the doctor recommended a medical tattoo. He explained they tattoo a freckle, no bigger than the end of a pencil eraser, on an area of skin that's easily seen while the child is under mild sedation, similar to dental offices. Because of the area, it usually fades in 2 to 3 years, but by then they should have developed more personal features and may not need it redone. So, after discussion with my husband, we did it. Therefore, Jake now has a 2mm brown freckle on his earlobe. From entering the office to leaving, it took 30 minutes. He never felt a thing. My mother-in-law lost her head the second I mentioned a medical tattoo. I tried to explain, but she just freaked out, so I put both kids on the floor and told her to pick up Jake and find the tattoo. She picked up Adam, so I handed her Jake, and after 20 minutes, she still couldn't find it. Stripped him to his skivvies. I finally pointed it out, and she went, "That's just a freckle." I just said, my point exactly. Adam doesn't have a freckle there, so that's how daycare can tell them apart. She's still fuming and ranting. Once I explain to others and they fail to find it, they understand, but they still think I went too far in tattooing my child and altering their body. I believe I took the necessary precautions recommended by the doctor, and the tattoo will fade with sun exposure and as he grows. By the time he's 5, it probably won't even be visible, or it will just look like a faded freckle. So, am I the butthole? Guys, as always, with all the stories in this one video, leave your comments down below. Something like story 1, not the butthole, story 2, butthole, story 3, not the butthole, whatever you want. I want to hear your thoughts. This is all about you. What do you think? Because my opinion is only one person, whereas you lot are, thousands and thousands. So comment down below, what do you think? Is this person the butthole or not? For me, quite clearly, she's not the butthole. I don't even see if there's a debate here, It's not really a tattoo. I get it. Yes, it is a tattoo, but it's not like a proper tattoo, first of all. It goes away after like 3 years, so I don't see that as a big issue. And it literally looks like a freckle that most people won't even be able to notice. So I don't see how that's a bad idea at all. If anything, it could potentially save a life, What if your mother-in-law didn't realise that she had given the wrong baby the injection? Yes, you said, it would only have caused diarrhea after a couple of days, but it could have been worse than that, and it could happen again at daycare or whatever, and having diarrhea is not fun anyway. Let me tell you from experience. But anyway, yeah, not the butthole. It makes sense to do that. Makes total sense. I don't know why you wouldn't. Now moving on to our next post. Am I the butthole for making my daughter sleep in a tent? I, a 34-year-old female, am a single mother to 2 girls. Jasmine, 16 years old, and Jessica, 14. Their dad sadly died when I was pregnant with Jess, and I had to work hard. We hit rock bottom, and I was barely making paycheck to paycheck, but I managed to get a degree, become successful, and we live well. The point is, I know how freaking hard it is to be at the bottom of society, and my daughters know this, which is why I was livid at my daughter's actions. Yesterday, Jasmine showed me a video of Jessica cussing a homeless man out and telling him, "Stop asking me for money. You'd earn it yourself if you weren't so freaking lazy and spending what you earned on substances." When the homeless man complained about the cold, we live in the northeast of England, which is absolutely freezing, Jessica responded, "Yeah, people camp for fun, even in December. You can't complain, you're living someone's holiday." Fury was an understatement for what I felt, as I thought I'd raise an empathetic daughter. Along with finding the homeless man and making her apologise and help pay for a hotel room for a night for him, she paid £20, as well as signing her up to volunteer at a food bank, I decided to take her up on her offer of sleeping outside. I locked her bedroom door so she couldn't go in, put a sign on it saying "closed for the holidays," pitched a tent in the garden and filled it with blankets and the sleeping bag I used when I was camping in Norway on a family holiday as a teen, aka really bloody thermal. I slept in the room closest to the garden for that night, so I was nearby if anything was to go wrong. She was reluctant to do it, but chose it over the option of not having access to her phone until the Christmas holidays are over. In the morning, she was crying about how horrible it was to wake up on a cold mat and get disrupted sleep due to birds. After comforting her, I asked her would she like to do that every day like the homeless man. This struck a chord with her, and she was crying over her actions, while even after giving £20, she was rolling her eyes and her apology was not sincere. This afternoon, I came home from work to Jessica making a big meal to donate to the homeless people who live on the road near our house. I was proud of how she turned over a new leaf, and after taking the food to the people, my sister came over. Apparently, my nephew and Jessica were talking at school, and he asked her about her plans for the afternoon, and she said that she was going to cook for the homeless. My nephew asked what triggered that, and Jess told him everything, which he relayed back to his mum. My sister said that punishment was too harsh, and just the £20 and the food bank would have done the trick, and I was acting irrationally due to my past. Now I'm second guessing myself. Am I the butthole? Alright guys, gonna be honest with this one. Clearly no, OP, you're not the butthole. I think that's pretty obvious. I think we could all judge that. What I also think is that OP has written this knowing that she's not the butthole, and she's just going for a bit of karma here from the lads of the internet. Do you not think a little bit? Like, it's so obvious that what she did was a great thing. You can tell the daughter's reaction changed so much from just giving £20 and doing the food bank stuff to actually experiencing what it is like to sleep outside without sleeping in a bed. So yeah, I think she knew that what she did had a really amazing effect on her daughter. I'm not taking away from the fact that what she did was great, right? Great parenting, but I think you didn't need to write this post, OP, because it was pretty obvious that you're not the butthole in this situation. Guys, if you disagree with me, let me know down below. That is the point of this subreddit. Let's move on to the final post. Am I the butthole for dramatically running away from an intervention my mother-in-law threw for me? My 28-year-old husband and I, a 28-year-old female, live in Colorado. We love beer and we live an active lifestyle. Hiking, snowshoeing, skiing. No beer hits like a beer after climbing a 14er, and I love a glass of wine in the bath on a lazy Sunday afternoon. Who doesn't, by the way? I don't know what a 14er is. A 14er is a mountain peak with an elevation of at least 14,000 feet. 4,200 meters. That's quite tall. That would take a long time to climb, so yes, you enjoy your beer. Now, my mother-in-law loves to clean her kids' houses as a gift quarterly. This works because we're notoriously lazy, deep cleaners. This is important. A week ago, she asked me to meet her at the park. I showed up to find a bizarrely socially distant group of my in-laws waiting for me with a box. She started saying, "Kaylee, this is an intervention. We're here because we love you," etc. It was awkward and I got nervous. She opened the box and showed 3 empty bottles of wine and 2 full bottles of wine plus an empty 16-ounce beer can. She looked at me pityingly and said, "Sweetie, I found your stash. I know you have a drinking problem." I was caught off guard and looked at the pile and it clicked. A few months ago, the bathroom sink backed up and we were rushing around trying to clear things for the plumbers to take care of it. I must have shoved my empty wine bottles and a shower beer can in my closet. The full bottles were purposefully hidden because they were going to be Christmas gifts for my husband. I tried explaining everything, and she put her hand on my shoulder and said, I know it's hard to accept you have a problem, but everyone here is here because we love you. Look, I drink a beer with dinner or after work a few times a week. A beer or two at a brewery, not lately, obviously, with friends, and occasionally I have some wine while taking a bath. I haven't even had a hangover since college. Then she smashed the wine bottles that were for my husband, saying it's for my own good. I started yelling at her that they were presents. She just looked me in the eye and did it again. So I ran back to our house sobbing. She called and left messages saying I can't hide from my problem and that she would be talking to my husband about sending me away for detox. She was tired of me hurting everyone by forcing my choices on them all, i.e. not giving her grandkids the one sore spot between us I thought she'd gotten over. She didn't explain to my husband what the stash was, just that she found one, and he turned on me for running away from the intervention, saying that made me look guilty as heck. I felt so alone. The issue became that I made myself seem guilty by running. My husband understands what happened now, but he's told me that I need to find a way to put it all behind, and maybe just not drink around his family for a while. I don't agree. I'm not going along with this. Fine, I won't drink around his family, but I'm not apologising for running away when I felt scared and cornered, and I'm absolutely not copping to a drinking problem when I don't have one. So am I the butthole for not just going along with this to make everyone happy? I feel like I'm going crazy. Again, pretty simple one in my opinion. If someone accuses you of having a drinking problem and you definitely, clearly don't, like not even you might do, you clearly don't, then you're not going to say, oh yeah, you're absolutely right, I do. Let's go along and play along with this. Like that makes no sense, makes no human sense. Although I do kind of get where this mother-in-law is coming from, right? She's found all this stuff and it looks bad, but I don't know, like it is a tough one. Because she's not doing a bad thing, is she, necessarily, by having an intervention? Maybe she should have talked to you beforehand and talked to her son, your husband, to really work out what's going on before calling in the entire family, all the in-laws, to have some weird public intervention, which must be extremely embarrassing for everybody. Yeah, that would have been a more sensible idea. But I feel like she does have good intentions. Maybe it would have been better had you stayed, but if someone says to me, you've got a problem with drink, mate, I've got all your family here, we're going to tell you off, I'm out of there. Why would I stick around? I don't have a problem with drink. I'm not going to even admit to having a slight problem when I really don't have one. It makes no sense. I don't know. In hindsight, maybe you should have stayed, but at the time, no way. Get out of there. Also, no doubt in my mind, your husband should be way more supportive of you. I know it's his mum and all, but come on. Why is he then saying, no, you should have stayed, come on, you should have entertained it? No, if I'm not drunk and I'm not an alcoholic, don't accuse me of being one. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/entitled parents. If you do want Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/am I the butthole. If you do want some more, click on this playlist right here of all my r/am I the butthole videos. If you are new to my channel, make sure you are subscribed. And if you want some lovely merch like the one I'm wearing right now, lovely hoodies for winter. Oh, look at that, they've got a hood. That's how you know they're a hoodie. And that's down here as well. Also, remember to leave your comments down below. All your thoughts on today's stories are very much appreciated, and I'll look through and give you a little heart if you comment down below something interesting, something I hadn't thought of. Nice one. Peace.